Hello, everyone, and welcome to Small Talk episode 15. This is the Smallville Retrospective Rewatch Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Ryan Cam. Thank you for tuning in. Because we are so close to the season 2 finale, we're going to be doing a megasode today. We're going to be covering 4 episodes for you in one episode. In preparation, after this, we're pretty much going to be at the season finale, which we're going to do watch-along style, but a little more on that in a little bit. But joining me, as always, from 3D Movie Cinema, it is Jacob Collins, who is represented by Venom here.
Hello, I am Venom. I really like this episode.
It's
Correction. We are Venom.
Yeah, if you're going to use Venom, at least quote him right.
I'm sorry. I was just literally like not thinking about it. I was like, yeah, that's right. I should have said we are Venom.
Or at least drop the classic line like a turd in the wind.
Like a turd in the wind.
But Matt, how you doing tonight?
Oh, dude, I'm so excited to get into this 4 episodes, which this is not something that we expected, because last time when we tried to because it was like the short for the finale, so we only did 1 episode from that week from season 1, then we jumped into the finale for the watch along. But doing 4 episodes, this is going to be interesting to cover 4 episodes at once.
Well, because we have so much to cover, this is going to be a little bit of a brisker pace, so let's just jump straight into it. Season 2, episode 19, called Precipice.
And now the WB's New Tuesday continues with Smallville.
An all-new Smallville, the one who has always been there when she needs him most,
The thought of someone hurting you.
will now lose control
You're in some kind of jealous rage.
and turn her trust into fear.
So how'd you do it, Clark?
All-new Smallville.
When Lana is assaulted by 3 drunken customers at the Talon, Clark defends her and ends up throwing the main antagonist onto the new sheriff's car. Oh, we'll get to her in just a minute. The new uptight sheriff, Nancy Adams, arrests Clark for assault and battery, but later dismisses the charges and gives Clark 40 hours of community service, which is bullshit, but we will get to that. Andrew Connors, the man that Clark threw onto the sheriff's car, fakes a serious injury and attempts to sue the Kents. With the abrasive Sheriff Adams unwilling to help Clark and his family, Lana decides to help Clark expose Connors as a phony. Meanwhile, Helen is stalked by her ex-boyfriend, Paul Hayden. When Paul attacks and nearly kills Helen, a vengeful Lex teams up with Clark to track down Paul to the train station before he can skip town. So this is not suspect or rush bad, but I did not care for this episode at all. The sheriff was...
You can go to hell, Ryan. This is awesome. I like this episode.
No, you go to hell. This was an annoying
You go to hell.
episode.
This is
The sheriff...
Hey, me and Matt like it. Matt, who's full of shit, Ryan or me? Matt, come on. This episode rocks.
I'm caught in between the two. It's just that we didn't really need this episode. I mean, the one thing that I liked was that learning about Clark Kent, learning about the consequences, because he's always getting away for every crime scene and every saves. And one time he gets caught, this is the one thing he can't walk away from that. That's the thing that I really liked about this episode. But the other stuff with the Helen and
Anson Mount, who, by the way, was second choice for Lex Luthor, by the way.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Yeah, they definitely talked about
choice.
that. Yeah, he would have been interesting. You may
I
have
don't-
known Anson Mount, that he was in a hit television series on AMC called Hell on Wheels.
Also,
He's been in
Inhumans?
Star Trek, and he's also been in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, that played Captain Pike.
Black Bolt from the
Black
Inhumans.
Bolt, yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. He played Black Bolt in Inhuman show
And
that
in
got
Doctor
canceled.
Strange,
And then,
Multiverse of Madness.
yeah, then he was in Multiverse of Madness.
Which, by the way, I just want to say, I actually, because Matt knows this, but like Ryan, he was the second choice. Like that actually got the showrunners in a dispute with each other. That they basically turned against each other because of that casting. Because I think either it was the head of the network and Miles Miller, who were like, Anson Mount's we said we found our Lex Luthor, Anson Mount, and then Alfred Gruff was like, no, you didn't. And then like he wanted Michael Rosenbaum, and then the other guy, and then the other two, and the head that were like, we want Anson Mount, and then basically Alfred Gruff won that argument and was like,
So he won the argument, and it's like, no, we're getting Michael Rosenbaum, not Anson Mount.
Could you
And it's kind
imagine?
of, and don't you think that was a little bit strange that they brought him into the show for a guest star?
What
That
a
they were able to
bizarro-
get him on the show.
What a bizarro timeline that would have been if like Talkville were hosted by Anson Mount and Tom Welling.
I don't even think Anson Mount would have even done a podcast because Michael Rosenbaum's more enthusiastic for podcasts than Anson Mount himself because he's still a working actor because he's still working on the show with Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
I always thought it's kind of odd that Lex Luthor has a podcast. That just, to me, I always thought that's kind of odd. It's like, if you think about it, Lex Luthor has a podcast that talks about mental health in a lot of ways with celebrities. I mean, that's just.
I mean, yeah.
I just never thought I would hear that coming out of my mouth.
It's actually really good.
It's really good too.
Nancy,
oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Elm Street was on one of them very recently.
Oh yeah, I did see that episode. Yeah, that was a great episode.
Dee Wallace was also on it, and I listened to that whole thing, and it made me really respect Peter Jackson way more because this is a little off topic, but she said Dee Wallace, by the way, was the mom in E.T., and she's been in a lot of Rob Zombie. She was also in The Frighteners, directed by Peter Jackson, and her husband, who was in The Howling with her, just passed away because she was really sick, had a heart attack, and she flew back to New Zealand to shoot The Frighteners. Then she found out he died, and then she flew right back, and Peter Jackson was like, oh, just go ahead and take care of your family. So basically, she had to settle up at the end of the shooting. She took her kids and everything, and Michael J. Fox and Peter Jackson, everybody's lovely to her family on set while she was shooting. And then at the end of it, when she went to settle up and see how much did it cost, because I had to fly back and forth from LA to New Zealand. And then the accounting's like, don't worry about it. Peter Jackson said it's on him. And Peter Jackson paid it.
Peter Jackson's an S-tier human being. I mean, we already knew that, but he is an S-tier quality human being, if there ever was one. But let's talk about this sheriff for a minute because she sucks. I did not like this sheriff at all. I thought that she was basically a Marge cosplay from Fargo, except Frances McDormand is actually Frances McDormand, and this sheriff was just one step away from being like a don't you know. It was like she was looking for Jerry Undergard or some shit.
She was pulling off the southern accent in that episode. She tried
Canadian,
to be like
Frances. By the way, like she's
Canadian. She's yeah.
No offense to the actress Camille Mitchell. The performance was good. It's just the material I just did not stand because I just was like, stop meddling in Clark's business. Like, we don't need a lecture about the letter of the law. That's what Jonathan Kent is there for.
She has better episodes because I mean, like this isn't just like a one and done thing. Like she is in like she keeps reoccurring in like almost every episode. Like, you know, because
she has like more of like a recurring role, but not a regular role, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like she's in like anytime they have to do with the cops, basically she's in.
I mean, I feel the same way when I first watched that episode. I was like, oh no, I don't know if I really like this character. But then after time and time it came, like now I started to warm up to her.
At least she has more of a character, by the way, though, because like Sheriff Ethan was like Jonathan, like Eeyore from like Winnie the Pooh. Jonathan.
She is better than she is, but she's more like the hard ass like sheriff, and that doesn't mess around.
Arresting Jonathan every other episode, that being Sheriff Ethan.
Well, she's way different than Ethan, and she is better than Ethan. I'm not gonna lie.
She is a hard ass though. Like Ethan was like Jonathan,
gotta
take your kid in again.
I have to take your kid in. I got to arrest you, Jonathan.
I got a nail in my ass. That's why I'm so depressed.
Like I just want to fucking rip that mustache off. And like can't stand that guy.
Sheriff Ethan's basically Eeyore from that's basically his character. And then while she is more like. She is more like, you know, the rabbit Winnie the Pooh, where she's like a hard ass and an asshole. She's like, listen here, Mr. Kent. I'm going to tell you, if I catch you violating again, I'm going to bring hell upon you, Mr. Kent. Like, I'm just like, well, I mean, she plays by the book, and she actually does have some really good episodes coming.
At least she's not a corrupt cop. That's all I got to say about with difference between her and Sheriff Ethan. She's doesn't mess around. She goes everything by the book, and if you try to cross her, she will mess you up.
I guess my main issue is that Clark is very clearly in the right, and like he beat up those guys very rightfully so, and we'll get to those idiots in just a minute. But just, man, like her whole thing of you did the wrong thing. And I'm just like, no, he did the right thing.
But he threw that guy 30 feet across that ship.
She pushed Lana. She pushed
Yeah, I know. They
shoved.
They assaulted her and harassed her. And he came in her defense.
And he deserved it. And let's talk about these guys, because that is the oldest college student I think I've ever seen.
They look like they're 40. The guy has literally his hair is falling off. The guy literally is.
Yeah,
Like,
he
God
did.
damn.
He looked way too old.
His face is so ugly that his hair is running the other way to not look at his face.
I did recognize that one of those college guys, one of the actors that didn't have any dialogue. He was one of those shows called Edgemont, a Canadian soap opera teen show with Kristen Crook that played Lana Lane that they co-started together in the show. They were part of the ensemble. Yeah, there's been a lot of actors on that cast members that appeared as a guest role.
By the way, did you see that? Like when he was assaulting her, they just like walked up to her and went like,
Yeah, they were looking
just
forward
like,
to this.
what?
He was about to take her to the back room.
And
For
assault
you
her.
already know
gonna
what's
go
going to
watch her
happen.
and be an encore. Like, yeah, buddy, get going. You got this, man. I mean, it's like seriously, like, are you that pathetic? By the way, first off, he's that pathetic that he's hurting a woman. Secondly, you two are that pathetic that you're gonna watch somebody do that. I'm like, what is wrong with both of you? It's like whoever wrote this episode was just like, all right, how do I make it deliverance?
Well, they wanted
not
well
go
they
all the
yeah,
way
they
there.
wanted to have this episode where now Lana doesn't want to be the damsel in distress anymore, that she doesn't want Clark to come to the rescue. She wanted to be able to defend
I
herself.
like that part. I like that part of this episode quite a bit, where Lex teaches her how to fight. I thought that was cool. Like,
That scene was so good.
Lana's actually doing something for once, instead of like doing this whole will they won't they with the Klana thing, which is already getting tiresome. Like, she actually does something.
This episode has something to do with Lana compared to the next episode, Ryan. So I'm just saying this and Accelerate are the two best episodes of Lana in it. Okay.
That's for sure. That is for sure. But yeah, these college students are just way too old. They must.
I like
suck
how Clark throws them. I like how Clark throws them, but then he's like, "Oh shit, cops!" And then he tries to escape. He's like, "Shit, I can't escape."
And for her,
like,
from her point of view, like you attacked someone and you didn't even have a scratch on you, so like, there's a little questions. And then then she looked it up on his record that he's been shown up every crime scene, which that will raises a little suspicions, and that just raises the stakes that you can't get away with everything, Clark. There's going to be consequences coming along the way that you're going to have to live with, and that was one of the moral lessons that Martha gave to him in that scene, in which that I thought it was good.
Also, I think what's funny is why wouldn't also the Anson Mount I thought he was great in this episode. I thought he was really good. And also I liked the scene where Clark, Pete and Chloe are berating Clark for having to do community service.
That was a good.
And then the sheriff walks out like it's like I'm just like, wow, this sheriff is everywhere in this town, because like he's
oh my god, she's like a trooper. She just
like
goes.
Beetlejuice.
She's
everywhere.
everywhere.
She will appear. Like
exactly. If that's the one.
It really is a small town.
And then I like how the guy's suing them, and then Clark is like, maybe this is where I start. Maybe this is where, and then like Jonathan gives him that beautiful speech about how we are a flawed race. And like that to me, I thought was.
But this flawed race raised you. I was like, ooh, you're more human than you think. And he's just questioning, like, oh, maybe that's where I would rule them by strength and all that. But like, no, you did it out of human emotion reaction, and that's what anyone would have done in your position.
Maybe this is where it all starts. Remember what it said in the spaceship?
I got into a lot of fights when I was your age too, believe me. Clark, it's true. We are a flawed race, sure. But we're a flawed race that raised you.
There is logic in what he says.
Anson Mount definitely understood the assignment. Like,
he
that
stalks
scene.
her, like he's like.
But that was so obvious. Don't you find that when the moment you see him in the Talon, where he's just looking at the newspaper and staring at Helen in a creepy way, and he disappears the moment she starts to starts to see who the one's staring at her.
Harry Osborn's from Spider-Man 3, sir.
I was like, apparently he has superhero. Does he have abilities? Is he a Kryptonian?
All he needed
or is he a meteor infected?
All he needed was to eat a piece of pie and just go scrumptious.
But the moment that he made an impression when he reappears in Helen's office, he came off as a very creepy stalker. Like that was just a sadistic serial killer vibe.
That was kind of the point.
She's in the office,
I know it was kind of the point, but goddamn, you
gotta
you made it so obvious. Like you didn't even try to hide it.
There is a promotional still of Michael Rose. They pointed this out in talk bills, by the way. There is a promotional still of Michael Rosenbaum as a photo of him on her desk.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that photo, that frame that she has.
They
in
didn't have any photos of him, or they could took him out and walk him out in the back alleyway and go. And instead, it's just
it looked so much like a model photo. If that's what it really was.
We got any photos of Lex? This is the only one we have. All right, we'll put that in the. I'm like, even
like nobody's gonna care or notice. Nobody's gonna give a shit.
it just seems like she went on the magazine and took a picture and put it inside the frame.
That's exactly. I guess that's exactly how it happened.
It didn't even seem like she even tried. Like
it just looks like a photo shoot.
It's like, come on, you couldn't have tried a little bit, just a little bit.
It's not rocket science. Just take a photo with you and Helen together.
Yeah,
that would have made more. That would have made more sense and more like convincing.
That's what they did with literally. That's what they did on Smallville season 1 for the camp photos. They took
the family. The camp
sets,
family photo. They had
click.
a camp family photo. It looked more believable. But for this one, like, ugh.
I have a theory. Maybe the photographer, they wanted to do that with the photographer, but he wasn't there or he couldn't fly to Vancouver. So they were just like, "Do we have any photos of Lex?" And they're like, "No, this is all we have is the promotional stills." And they're like, "Just put one of those in there. No one's gonna notice. It's a 3-second shot." And that's probably what they did. Also, I do like how he Anson Mount breaks his fucking face against the wall mirror.
I loved that scene.
And he said on Talkville, because they interviewed him on that episode, he said, "I literally, they had like almost like an egg, like a blood ball looked like an egg on his face, and then he would smash it and then it'd bust." And so
that's a great editing technique that with practical, like using those eggs and dyed red so that you could smash it through the fake glass and stuff, so it makes it more realistic. That's a great acting with Anson Mount in that one scene, even though this character is such a psychopath, just to fake his injury to frame Lex for what he did not do. That's crazy.
Lex is at fault too, because he's like, you literally threatened this man with violence. I'm like, Lex never did that. Lex never threatened him with violence.
He just warned him to just stay away because you're stalking my girlfriend now.
He more implied it than anything.
And Lex is like, "Yeah, I did it." I'm like, "No, you didn't, Lex. Stop incriminating yourself, Lex. Stop. Do not incriminate yourself, Lex, you idiot. Okay, literally, stop." He's like, I'd be like saying, "Did you do this?" "Yeah, I did it." I'm like, "No, you didn't. Just shut up." Like a lawyer, they shut up, Lex. I'm trying to help you. Also, I did like that Lana was fighting the abusers at the end, which, by the way, I had issues also with the scene.
No, I agree with you on that. I'm with you with the whole scene where she defends herself against the guy who was faking his injury. And then she suddenly knows how to kick ass and do his nail the spin kick just like that. Like she just had to learn that shit in a few days.
How many days? And also the fact is, this dude goes there to assault her again. This time it's actually open. There's nobody there, and she goes there, and I'm just like, "You're gonna try this again? Are you serious?" I'm like, bro, if somebody walks in, her story's gonna back her story up. They're gonna back her story, not you. I'm just saying, this is a very bad.
That will exonerate with Clark.
Also, I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but the dude literally takes off his neck brace when he gets into the car in the middle of the town. I'm just sitting there if you're suing someone for breaking your neck and you're faking it, you don't do it where people can see you. You drive away. Then you do.
But one thing, I don't think the editor really thought this through, or the writers thought that through from that scene itself, because you can literally see the window. I think that they thought that this window was going to be more like a shade where you can't see the passenger or the driver. But when you watch that shot, you can clearly see him in plain view. You didn't need an X-ray vision. You literally you don't need that to catch him, to see what he's doing inside that car.
And also, Lana, that guy cannot act as good at all.
Oh God, it was so.
If you stay with me, Kent, I'll get the cops all over the sheriff, all over your ass.
I have the sheriff all over your ass.
I'm like, why would you say it like that?
Who talks like that?
What is it like? What do you? That's not even a Stephen King bully. That's like some kind of some Family Guy would do with mocking bullies.
Tommy was so bully.
Yo, why, Mark? Clark, I'm going to hurt you now. Stop, Clark. That's basically the same.
Is that supposed to be Tommy Wiseau?
Stop.
Anyway, how's your sex life, Mark?
I did not hit her. I did not, Clark.
I did not hit her. I did not.
Oh, hi, Clark.
Oh, hi, Clark.
I did not hit Lana. I did not. Oh, hi, Clark.
Yeah, that's definitely going in there. But
but also, did you notice how Lex is wearing a black trench coat with the red shirt? He's dressed exactly like Sean Ashmore in his episode.
Oh my God, I didn't notice it.
He needs a boombox to complete the.
Are you sure it was red, or it could have been maroon, because it was too dark?
It was red. He was wearing.
I could have sworn he was wearing maroon.
All he needed was that boombox on the play as he was walking with the boombox.
Okay, the fashion police. Thumbs up or thumbs down for Lex wearing trench coat and red coat.
Don't repeat outfits from other people.
That's
sorry, Lex.
You know what the difference is? With Lex Luthor did it right. Sean Ashmore just took it a little bit overboard because he's a high school kid. He's a nerd.
Of all the attires to rip off, you would rip off the attire of someone who carries a boombox in the year 2002 unironically.
Well,
But
hey, it was in the early 2000s. iPod was not a thing.
or maybe it was, but
it was 2001. CD players existed, and this asshole literally
That's
took
true.
a boombox. It's like, I can't afford a CD player, so I'm just gonna go get a boombox.
all right.
By the way,
Well, I think
that is, by the way, Ryan did that actually. By the way, that Ryan did that actually. And Ryan did that, added that, like I took my boombox, and I died laughing. I replayed that scene 100 times. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
it was
Also,
it was perfect.
Flashback.
As soon as he dons the black trench coat and the boombox sent me. I was done when I saw that boombox. I was like, this is the year of our Lord 2002. This was released.
also love how he literally hypes, how he brings a boombox, literally a boombox, and sets it right there, like as if like I'm just thinking about Batman '89 when like the Joker has an instrument with a boombox. It's sole purpose is to carry a boombox.
He just thinks he's cool. He thinks he's all big and bad because he has all Clark's powers now. And yeah, the trench coat was a little bit too Matrixy, a little bit of far stretch for him to wear it.
Ryan, put the song "Lonely Island Boombox" into like as a clip when you're referencing boombox.
But then I walk in the room, hold my boombox high, and what happened next will blow your mind.
I will try and find it, and I will do it for you.
Don't say it don't for you.
End of flashback.
Also, one more thing before we leave, wouldn't Lex help out with the lawsuit, or doesn't have any witnesses or alibis? Also, doesn't Lex have any witnesses? Because Lex was with her, right? Whenever this guy, he only had a bodyguard, and the guy never said a bodyguard broke Lex's face. He said Lex did, and I'm like, Lex could say, I would have guards that says I was at the Luthor Mansion all freaking night.
Yeah,
or
he had an alibi.
I was with her. Like, how would that be like any like that? Just to me, it's like, no, like Lex would have an alibi. And also, Clark getting sued, wouldn't Lex get a good lawyer? Like, look, Clark, I got a good lawyer. He's gonna take care of this, okay?
Or get Henry Smalls. Get Henry Smalls. He's a lawyer. He can help him.
And also, also there is a blooper in this episode that is noticeable. I've told you guys this, where there is an extra. As Clark and Lana are talking, an extra Joe's goes and looks at Lana's butt and then keeps on walking.
I know, I saw that. You recorded that on your screen.
I recorded that because I'm like, I did not, like, wait, what?
I didn't notice the extra was looking at Chris and Crick's butt when he walked by.
And he does this too, like, and then walks away. I'm like,
I mean, I admire the courage. I mean, Lord knows that I would certainly like. I mean, I admire the. I don't know where I'm going with this. Like, I'm trying to compliment him, but at the same time, there's like a time and a place, and that was not the time and not the place.
Especially the camera's rolling too. There's a camera right there. Why would you do it when the camera's right there? By the way, a camera's right there. Also, I'm just like, wow, that was a bold extra. If I was Tom Welling, that's a bold freaking extra right there. He's like, I'm never gonna do this and get this opportunity again. And then it's like and you know what? He can watch this. He's probably like 30 years old, like older now in Canada. And he's like, see, he's telling his son, see that's your dad looking at Christine Crunk's butt. See, I do this.
Dreams do come true.
I think there's at the end when he proposes to Helen, and then that song "Don't Fear the Reaper" by I forget who sings it, but
Don't Fear the Reaper. But it's done by a different band this time.
Yeah.
I like that song too.
I like how it plays because that's from Scream, by the way. If you noticed in Scream, that's when Billy and Sydney. That's from that scene in Scream. And I just like it. I really like that song, and the way it's played out. I'm like, "Don't Fear the Reaper." I'm like, that is so
I cannot believe
good.
it. I forgot that was playing that song. I got it. Damn,
And
now I need to rewatch that scene.
It's called in the business.
You're talking about the scene with Billy and
foreshadowing.
Sydney in the beginning of the film. That's what you're talking about, the song.
Yeah, the scene
they were
at the end, 'cause,
playing.
you know, it's impinging
Okay,
that
now I
Billy's the
remember.
killer.
Now it's
Yeah.
coming back to me.
It's because Wes Craven put that as a nod saying he's the killer. See, don't fear the Reaper. You know, and I'm just saying, like, I think that's so clever because he's like,
I cannot believe I didn't notice the lyrics. I was not listening to the
Ryan's
lyrics.
like, it's foreshadowing what though? What is it foreshadowing?
Okay.
In the
Good
business,
call.
and you know the rest. But let's go to ratings. Jacob, 1 to 10 shields. What you got?
I got this about a 9.
Wow.
I'm joking. I would say about an 8. Oh, I'm happy with an 8.
All right, Matt, what about it?
I liked it. It's not one of my favorite episode. The storyline with Helen Mirren's ex-boyfriend with Anson Mount, which I think he did a great job with the performance, but it kind of felt like a little bit too much of like a Lifetime, something that could have been done as a Lifetime movie. Like I was like, do we really need this storyline? It was kind of weak. But other than that, I give it like a 6.5 out of 10. It was an okay episode.
I am going to go 5. This was very much a mixed bag. There was good stuff. There was bad stuff. It wasn't insufferable, but it wasn't outstanding either. But definitely, it felt like it felt like it introduced some things that I imagine are going to come up. So there was enough good to keep me interested, but there was some parts of it that I just could not stand. But let's move on. Season 2, episode 20, called Witness.
New Tuesday continues. They can't kill Clark Kent, but they can go after his parents.
Can't just let that go without a fight.
And now all new Smallville.
When a van of Luthor Corps is hijacked by 3 criminals, Clark accidentally witnesses the robbery. He recognizes the leader of the gang, Eric Marsh, a baseball player of Smallville High School, unwilling to report his suspicions to the pompous Sheriff Adams, who continues intimidating and harassing the Kents. Clark launches his own investigation and discovers that Marsh and his 2 friends are using refined kryptonite. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I mean steroids. I mean refined kryptonite, excuse me, to use as inhalers to give them superhuman strength. Meanwhile, Clark quits his job at the school paper. Was he even employed? I don't know. The Torch, after discussing with Chloe about him missing a few too many deadlines. Lana sees Jennifer Small with her lawyer, oh boy, and she tells Lana that she plans to divorce Henry Small over the stupidest of reasons, but we'll cross that bridge in a minute. Also, Lex tries to find what cargo was stolen from his father by trying to follow Eric Marsh, while Lionel arrives in Smallville with a surprise visit to Lex and to Chloe, whom he offers her a job as an intern at the Daily Planet newspaper in Metropolis. So yeah, this has another Home Improvement co-star, Zachary Ty Bryant, who played Brad in the show. And this is pretty much like, you can tell this was early 2000s because the kryptonite is pretty much a steroid metaphor, like Mark McGuire, Roger Clemens, all of that. Like it's pretty much like baseball kryptonite. I was like, it's steroids.
Yeah, it's steroids. Steroids, but it's 10 times more stronger, more enhanced.
Look at Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong used steroids when he was racing on the bicycle.
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong.
Not Neil Armstrong. Imagine Neil Armstrong. Hey, assholes! I'm on space, motherfucker! And they're just like,
and I'm sure a lot of actors who do big blockbuster movies who look like they're in the best shape of their life, but let's be honest, they're taking fucking enhancements, which I won't call anyone out.
Athletes do that too.
Athletes do it too.
Which, by the way, this episode is awfully cue the Spider-Man 3 clip.
Similar.
Very similar.
Very familiar. Every time we say something like this is very familiar, we need to just have that clip from Spider-Man 3 ready where Tobey Maguire goes, very familiar. Ryan's like, damn it, I gotta put that clip in.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
I'm gonna put some dirt. Every time, oh my god, anytime Ryan like gotta be an asshole to something, he's like, wait for it, and he's like, I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye. And
I will find the clip. But
it really is like, I just hate. There is one thing that I thought about you when I was watching this episode, Ryan. Whenever like the woman's like, I'm divorcing Henry Smalls, and I'm thinking like, didn't Ryan say like 2 days ago, like 2 episodes ago, Ryan's like when he says he doesn't have time for you, he doesn't have time, and he goes, then why did he marry you? Like you said that, and I'm just Ryan's like, why are you married to him if you're divorcing him? Like what is I just
And
imagine
she's
Ryan screaming.
divorcing, and she's divorcing Henry Small for the stupidest of reasons because
Lana is his top priority. Like,
you are a
that's
petty
his
lady.
fucking daughter. What are you talking about? Are you mental? Add that clip from Wayne's World when Wayne just calls out to fucking Stacy.
Are you mental?
I was
like, are you that shallow? Are you really that selfish? Seriously? That really frustrated me in that episode.
This must have been a marriage of convenience because I swear to God, this woman has put down Henry Small. I felt bad for the guy. Like she's put down Henry Small at every opportunity. He's a flake. He was going to be a congressman. Now he runs a law office out of our house. Like he's focusing on you more than me. Just like pick a lane.
You shouldn't focus on your daughter. You should focus more on me. No, fuck. I'm like, hey, fuck you. That's my daughter, and I care more about her. And if you can't handle that, that's your problem.
Compared to her, what'd she do? What did she do? She goes, like, literally, first off, why Lana sitting there in the car? She could have did this. Like, don't let her see me. Don't let her see me. Or she could have been
oh god, don't make eye contact.
Could have been like,
Psycho hose beast.
She could have been like, Chloe, hey, can you go ahead and go? And Chloe's like, yeah, sure, yeah. Instead, she's just like this, like,
huh?
And then they make eye contact.
They wanted to make that dramatic turn. Remember in Zoolander 2 or Zoolander 1 or whatever that scene was with Stiller and Owen Wilson did this whole thing. Does this blue steel stare?
Like all that was missing was the "you've been spotted in Metal Gear Solid" noise. The boy, like that one. That's all that was missing.
Yeah, I mean, the character was the worst.
Also, regarding bad plot lines, this literally was very stupid because they reused the same freaking plot. They reused the same plot,
Pretty much.
From from the last season with Whitney. Only Whitney wasn't in this episode. I'm like, are you serious? It's the same freaking plot.
Well, no, but they were just robbing him to get some money that they faced through objects. This guy here, Eric, just wants to take those kryptonite 10 times steroids and just get into the big major league and make $1 million. That's what, and they were wanting to rob that kryptonite truck from Lionel. So
this
they
dude, by the way, looks like he's on steroids. He looks like he's on something because whenever he did this, he's playing baseball. I'm like, even in real life, he looks like he was on something. I'm like,
did the coach not catch him doing something when he was like,
as he's about to bat, there is someone throwing the ball to you, bro.
I know he's literally out in the open. He's literally out in the open. People are watching. It's not like
he went this, he did this. It's not like he did this and then walked out in the field.
Unless you want to make up a bullshit story that you have asthma and that's your inhaler, that would be a good cover story.
Yeah, he's got the steroid signs like all over him. Like in the words of Robin Williams, if he's got a Mardi Gras float for a head and raisinets, you're out.
Yeah, and also he's breaking those fucking like scoreboard, like it was nothing, and like break it apart. Like
he's doing that shit on purpose too. He's doing that shit on purpose.
Like he's not even trying to hide it.
And Chloe gets into a fight with Clark again, and I was just wanting to rip my face off. I'm just like, give Chloe something to do, please. We have done this before.
Why are we still back to the whole jealous girlfriend type?
The writing on the wall has already been written and underlined several times. We just need to slap a big old neon sign at this point. It's like, Clark doesn't like you.
He's not in love with you. Why are you still getting so riled up and acting all like weird? Why are you being so weird about it again? Didn't we already move past this a long time ago? And we're still back to that again.
Also, Clark was being a little bitch to Chloe too, by the way. Like, he's like, I quit now, and she's like, well, why don't you just quit? I feel like Clark was also being a little bitch in this situation. I'm like, Clark, don't be a little bitch. Come on, man. Like,
I think they both were. I think they both were being a little bitch. They both were. Let's be honest. It's being a little childish at this point.
Kryptonite has magical powers also, apparently, because it just doesn't just give you it doesn't just give you, it gives you whatever you desire, apparently, because whenever Tony Todd took it, he got jitters. Whenever what's his name, Miles Dyson took it, he got jitters. But apparently, whenever everybody else on the show that doesn't work for Luthor Corp, apparently, if a high school student catches it, they'll get magical powers. If apparently, if you fall into a roll of quarters and then you fall on kryptonite, you're gonna shoot roll of quarters out your hand, because that's how kryptonite fucking works in this show. It's like a freaking Achilles heel, whatever you want. It's like whatever you like desire. It's like a magic stone. I mean, I would not be surprised if somebody found kryptonite and was like, and it just absorbed like one Wonder Woman 84, and they just became like a magic stone that had grants wishes, like in Wonder Woman. I mean, I guarantee you, they probably wrote that in the writers' room at one point, because they said that the showrunners have said they used to play the teams against each other at 2 rooms, the light room, the dark room, and they would put all the good writers in the dark room, and then the light room they would put in the not so good writers, and then they would tell that they go in the dark room and be like, hey, can you all do this, this, and this, and then they're like, and then they go in the light room and tell them, hey, they're in the dark room, they're doing some really great stuff right now, and then they come back and say, oh, the ones in the light room are doing terrible, you got to help us out, and so to play them against each other, and then they would come out with some weird ideas, like I said. Like one time was like Clark turns into a dog, and how do we figure this out? And they're like, it never happened in the episode, but they were just coming up with ideas, just like Clark turns into a dog.
The writers' room are just spitballing ideas that they
Clark turns into a dog.
What a jolly good business screenwriting is, apparently.
That's TV writing. Screenwriting, they wouldn't come up with stupid ideas like that.
Oh, well, fair point.
Which back then you had 20. You had to think about it this way, Ryan. You have 22 episodes or 23 episodes. You have to have, like, to me, like, when you were talking, like, all right, so episode 2 and 22 and 23 are the big episodes, and like there's a couple of episodes like Accelerate is just like, you know, episodes they can make up for fun. But then like episodes like, you know, like there are like the Lex and Lionel stuff are more like the back plot of what's happening. Let's leading, like, for instance, you know, like they have all this stuff like with Christopher Reeves. That's episodes like, look, we need that episode. We need this episode. We need episode. Okay, that's like 10 episodes. Well, we got 23. Well, we got to find 13. We just got to make 13 episodes up. And which actually there are some that are really good. But there are some that are like, well, like we got to repeat a storyline with Kryptonite because we have nothing else to think of.
No, I understand the wisdom there. I just have to see it with my human eyeballs, and I got to call it like I see it.
Also, did you notice that when they throw Clark Clark follows them around, they throw Clark into the fire, then he runs out naked like the T-800 from Terminator.
Yeah, that's exactly what I felt like when I first watched that episode. After they threw him into the furnace, and I actually liked that scene. That was pretty bad. He just like punches that door out and just walked out like a boss, like a Terminator. And I guarantee that the back shot that you're seeing, that was probably a body double. That looked like a body double to me.
That looked like a guy that was 30 years old pretending to be a 15-year-old boy.
And he looked way too like in a bodybuilding build, like a Schwarzenegger.
The back of that head is not Tom Welling's. I'm like,
that did not look like Tom Welling's head.
That looked like the stunt double to Tom Welling.
Did it look like a wig that he was wearing?
They probably did. They probably went to a wig shop and be like, look, guy, I'll do the scene naked, but like I don't look like Tom Welling. I don't have the same hairstyle. Just go find a wig right quick. Which also, then he wears that shitty mechanic suit. By the way, have you noticed that mechanic?
Well, his clothes got burnt. Like he needed to wear. He's not going to run out butt naked out in the public.
Clark, your dick's out. Put it up, man. Jonathan's like, Clark.
Or he could get, and he's about to walk right into the house, butt ass naked in front of his parents. It's like, no, I don't think that would work. He's like Electro Jamie Foxx from No Way Home. You're all gonna stand in here like butt ass naked.
He's gonna walk in there and he's gonna like quote the line from the first Iron Man movie, like,
let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing.
I'm just saying, like, literally, like, Clark could have literally, like, found, like, he could have, I'm sure he has clothes in the barn. He literally, it'd been funnier if he went to the barn and John's like, whoa, Clark. He's like, sorry.
Like, oh my God. Or what if Lana or Chloe walked in like, oh, and Chloe would be like, oh.
Chloe would have been like this, like a peeping Tom behind the couch, like, yeah. Like, she'd have been like that guy, the extra in that show, like, the extra walked by and looked at Lana's butt, like, yeah. She'd have been like, yeah, Clark. Hey, Clark, you got your Jolly Green Giant. Let's look at you. I was like, yeah, this is my kryptonite or my fortress of solitude.
We're turning into LA Knight. We're saying yeah so much. Like, yeah, but anyway.
But I just think that was kind of funny. I thought that was really cool. And also, he made Pete, by the way, dig the hole and put the kryptonite. If he's having to dig the hole, he just sent our supervisor like, good, you're doing good, Pete.
Well, he can't be near that. He had to keep his distance from that kryptonite.
It's like the most that Pete had to do across these 4 episodes.
Yeah, but I wish they would have given a little bit more. He had to dig. They had to bury it. They didn't really. Pete didn't really dig deep enough in that hole.
Lex could easily use dogs, and Lionel could, and use dogs to go and dig it out like a bone, and then they like. It would have been funny if at the end of Lex, you have Lex with a bunch of dogs, at Luthor Court dogs, and then Lex digs up and goes, "Fascinating."
Well, I think we've covered just about everything, so let's go to ratings, unless I forgot something, and I
I'm
probably
trying to see.
What about the scene where Lex bails him out of jail because he needed the answers of why what stuff in that truck that they were hijacking, and literally that there was adding a bunch of consequences. Someone trashed Chloe's like office, the torch, and now he went after Clark's parents.
I like that
was a
too.
little
Like,
bit
he
dramatic.
literally went after them too. I like how he destroyed the office. And we didn't touch upon this, but I love how Lionel Luthor is like, because him and Lex were basically like, because Lex is pissed off at him for like, taking control of the caves, and like he literally how he goes and he tells Chloe, "Hey Chloe," he goes, "I'm gonna give you some new computers." And everything. You're like, really?
But there was one. Oh yeah, but there was one thing that Chloe did brought up, that even though that Eric
Like
was
the Luthor
convicted,
truck,
he
don't worry
denied
about it.
the fact that he was the one that vandalized Chloe's office. Are you sure that? My guess is that I think that Lionel kind of arranged the vandalism, because since now he can earn back Chloe's trust, that way he can actually like rebuild the torch and new gear and all that stuff, and act like he's in there for help, but really he has something up his sleeve.
But who would not see a bunch of men in trench coats go in there and destroying shit?
I mean, it could have been at nighttime. It might not have been in broad daylight.
Also, the
nobody
Kent
was
Farm,
there.
though, Eric did admit going to the Kent Farm and doing that.
Yeah, that was definitely him for sure.
Almost, because as we learn in a later episode, Lex kind of did a similar thing. So as much as Lex wants to pretend that he's different, he's the same.
Oh yeah,
he did like he put Martha's life in danger in that hostage episode, and then on top of it, his dad's life in danger, and then in this episode he puts Clark's family in danger, his pregnant mom, Jonathan, and he puts Clark in danger. All these people in danger because he wanted to up his dad, and find out what was in the truck. Like, Lex, you are just as bad as your father, you piece of shit. Like,
Or maybe because in his defense, he didn't know that Clark was involved with Eric. Maybe he just didn't know at the time.
He didn't
think about it.
I think he still would have done it because he wanted to see what would happen.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, with that, I think we can officially go to ratings now. Jacob, what you got?
6 out of 10.
Okay, Matt.
One of the things that I liked was the battle at the end of the third act with Clark going up against those jocks. That was pretty cool. That was a fun scene to watch. That was one of my favorite parts. But yeah, I'm gonna have to be with Jacob on this. It's probably gonna be a 6 out of 10. It was an okay episode. I wasn't too crazy about it.
All right, then we are simpatico. I'm going 6 as well. Definitely a step up from the last one. Not horrible, but definitely some parts that I didn't like. Though again, definitely character moments that I liked, I suppose. But let's move on now to season 2, episode 21, called Accelerate.
On the WB's New Tuesday, an all-new Smallville.
You're not real. I am too real. No, you died.
Fear has been waiting.
Clark, do you believe in ghosts?
For someone she's dangerous to play with.
You think she's seeing things that aren't there?
Maybe this is her way of showing me that the dead really can communicate with us. I know why you're scared of me.
All new Smallville.
Lana sees the impossible. A friend named Emily Eve Dinsmore, who died 6 years earlier in a fatal accident at age 10 and still appears that age. Clark believes Lana and searches for the truth. Emily's father, Mr. Dinsmore, has an accident provoked by Emily, and Lionel Luthor visits him in the hospital. Lana and Clark eventually discover that Emily is the result of a Luthor Corps experiment in accelerated cloning. But problems in her chromosomes have caused her to be a flawed copy, resulting in a bad temper. So kind of like Megan. And with the power of super speed and telekinesis. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor plans his wedding with Helen, while Lionel gives Lex a free airline ticket for a honeymoon in the Caribbean, and to tie up some loose ends over the Emily cloning matter, and to take control of the old cave away from Lex. So Lana sees dead people in this episode, and it's actually quite good.
This episode, I think, was the most. I was texting Ryan when he said this episode was good. I was like, this and the first and the one that episode Ryan didn't like are probably the only two episodes this season where Lana has something actually to do.
Facts for sure.
That Lana heavy episode. Like Lana's not just in like another love triangle. Like, oh, you like Chloe. Oh no, I like Chloe. Oh no, nobody likes Chloe. And instead, it's not like that bullshit we hear every week. Like this time, it's actually like Lana sees dead people. Lana sees dead people. And I like how they watch House on Haunted Hill first, and then like she's getting scared and she grabs Clark, and then she starts and then after she's cleaning up the popcorn, she sees that little dead girl, and it's like it's a fucked up story.
And it's playing it's playing a bunch of home video with Emily Densmore when they were kids.
Yeah,
it was playing that. It was like, dude, that was like weird and creepy coming out of a Stephen King movie.
That whole song, "Ring Around the Rosie," a pocket full of posies, is just creepy to me. I don't know why.
Even in the one scene when Clark and Lana were at Emily Densmore's place and they were in an underground facility that they were doing that human cloning thing, and there's a doll that "You're My Best Friend." Those dolls, oh god, they creep me out even more. But that was one of those. But that was one of those like kryptonite bricks that they were the one that the truck that got robbed. That's what he was using it for, accelerating cloning.
That to me, like the dad, that's a really fucked up idea if you think about the storyline. It's like, okay, well, she drowned and I couldn't do nothing to save her, and I'm just like, and then you find out later she tells the girl that, which is the worst thing to do because she's just a clone with abilities.
She's a clone with no subconscious. She doesn't understand between the right or wrong, and she's mentally unstable. Because she becomes dangerous and a murderer.
And then the tables turn and she does the same thing a lot.
And one thing I wanted to bring up, like I don't remember like Emily has telekinesis. I know she has super speed, but she doesn't have telekinesis. I don't recall that.
Did I say telekinesis?
No, not you. No, Ryan brought that up when he was reading off the
on my telekinesis notes.
I was like, since when? I don't remember her having telekinesis.
That's what IMDb said.
Really?
Maybe she meant like she could teleport around. She meant to say.
No, she could super speed around, but she was managed to like use a heavy, sharp object against her dad, which it means that if you run so fast enough, you can definitely like have an enhanced strength.
Lionel being like, I care about my employees. Bullshit, you do.
You're full of shit, Lionel.
You're so, in the words of Gordon Ramsay, you're so full of shit, even your eyes are brown.
Now we're starting to see that Lionel is trying to play God with human cloning now and trying to resurrect his dead daughter.
That is a major plot point going forward. Not going to say what happens, but that is, we call in the business, foreshadowing.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
You know, in a bit of irony, he treats this girl better than he treats his own son.
Yeah, brings her like a rabbit.
Yeah,
the bunnies.
You know, I also like how Lana tells her, and then she just pushes Lana, and Clark has to save her, and that looked all practical too. It looked really good.
Especially in the graveyard, the cemetery, when he was chasing after Emily Densmore, the way they did that visual effects shot and the slow-mo in the rain. And then Sam Jones, the third, just stood there. But in this one scene in the gag reel where he just could not keep a straight face, and that someone in the the crew was laughing.
What the hell are you guys laughing at over there?
It's like, what the hell are you guys laughing at? When he's trying to do this freeze in slow-mo, pretending to freeze in the middle of the shot, he just could not keep a straight face and starts cracking up.
They said the little girl never complained. They said they were shooting out there and that was really freaking cold because it was like this is like in January, February.
She didn't complain about that.
They said that Sam and him were like, this fucking, we're freezing our balls off. And then she's just like, didn't say nothing. She's just like professional as ever. No, like she was more professional that day than we were.
She was 10.
Shout out to the young actress Jodelle Ferland who played Emily. She would later go on to be Sharon in Silent Hill, the original Silent Hill.
I remember.
Also, why did they keep leaving Lana alone? Like every time it feels like, okay, there's a ghost. Okay, Lana, you will put you in this room. But all right, bye. And I'm like, wouldn't somebody want to say there? Is that makes she that way it helps her mental mentality because she thinks she's going crazy.
Well, it's 2 episodes ago where she is like, I'm going to try and save myself, and she learns like from the Cobra Kai dojo all these things. So I feel like, all right, we're gonna leave you be. And
Yeah,
then
she learned the Karate Kid style, wax on, wax off thing.
They're not gonna write an episode where Lana beats the shit out of a child. They're not gonna do that. Just like you don't see Clark like do this to the little girl. You don't see Clark go push the girl to the.
But also to be fair, because she's traumatized because, oh my God, I see my dead best friend that drowned that I felt responsible for, and it's brought back, and it just made her more vulnerable than ever. And also when Chloe mentioned that Clark, like, you don't really see the side of Lana that you think you saw. You think that she's larger than life, perfect, and all that. But no, she's putting on a mask. You didn't see her crying at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, she has some emotional breakdowns every once in a while when you live with her.
I think this episode humanized Lana a lot more than just being like the perfect girl next door. Like, it doesn't make it like Clark's like, man, maybe Chloe, and then like they're just like how Chloe, like, Chloe has some emotional baggage too, but like Lana killed somebody when she was 6. So
she inadvertently killed her.
Yeah. Like, so yeah, Lana's not necessarily, Chloe never killed somebody, so you could say that. That's positive, right? So it's like, I honestly, I really, really, really think that whole thing, I'm like, first off, I'm sitting there yelling at my TV. Why would you tell her this crazy, unstable child that you murdered several years ago?
Yeah, I know. Like, not the smart move on your part. Like,
don't then she does exactly what I would have done.
I don't think she watches enough Stephen King movies that things can go horribly wrong like that when someone's mentally unstable.
I mean, I would argue she was pretty emotional, so that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the one scene with between her and Clark in the barn, like, she's coming to Clark and saying, like, you know what, if I'm with you, I might disappoint you because you see me as the perfect girl next door, but you didn't see the different side that I have an emotional baggage going on, and I'm afraid I might disappoint you. And that's kind of the similar, like, parallel with Clark. Like, he has baggage. He's afraid to come to open up to Lana about who he really is, and he's afraid that she might freak out and reject him.
Also, why wouldn't Clark stay in the basement? When he finds all that stuff, he leaves and then comes back with the sheriff, and it's like, oh, well, all this shit's gone. I'm like, first off, it's amazing how Luther Corp can move all those fucking things in like an hour.
I know, that quickly. Are the police are really that slow to catch up sooner? It was not that long ago.
They're on toy trucks going wee 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 wee. Get little remote control cars. And Lionel's like, I see him. Lionel's watching binoculars. I see him.
Who's the lookout?
2 hours away. We're good.
Lionel's the lookout.
Lionel's like, all right. They're about 45 minutes away. All right, they stopped for burgers. Okay, now they're getting gas.
No, they're stopping up to get donuts.
All right. Now they're stopping for a pee break. Okay, now they're smoking for cigarettes. Now Clark's sitting there just doing this. Like, come on, we got this. Is a kind of time.
But wasn't Lana and Clark there the whole time waiting for the cops? They were literally close. And how the hell did they were able to get rid of all this stuff like that quick? That just
ninjas. Luther Corp has ninjas. Spoiler,
apparently,
ninjas. They were just like
the Luthers can afford them. So
that's true.
Ninjas.
Anyway, I think that is just about everything.
It's a good episode.
We get pretty close to a claw and a kiss, but that doesn't come until the next episode, which we'll get into in just a hot second. But first, on that lovely visual, first ratings. Jacob, 1 to 10.
I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10.
All right, Matt, what about it?
Yeah, this is a step up. This is definitely pushing the plot further with Lionel Luther playing God, and then that's why why he's using those kryptonite for human cloning, because that's definitely going to play a bigger part in the future. So yeah, this is probably an 8.5 out of 10. This was an emotional episode, and Lana got more to do instead of just playing this whole stupid love triangle with Clark and Chloe, blah blah blah. And like, we didn't need that. Thank God we did it a little bit different. It's a change of pace.
Hallelujah. But yeah, I'm going 8.5 as well. Very good episode. A lot of very interesting things, and it's nice to know that the cloning stuff is going to be coming back around, because I think that is intriguing. But let's close things out with the penultimate episode of Season 2, Episode 22, called Calling.
Stay tuned for scenes from next week's all-new Smallville. Next Tuesday, all-new Smallville. His dreams finally within reach. Now a terrifying prophecy.
The day is coming.
He cannot escape.
The last son will rule the third planet. I'm the last son.
scared.
You need to die. The all-new Smallville you must see before the season finale. Next week on the WB.
As Clark and Lana get more romantically close to each other, the comatose Dr. Frederick Wallen recovers and says the day is coming and he will rule the world. He believes that Clark Kent is a menace to mankind. He escapes from the mental institution and tries to eliminate Clark. Meanwhile, Dr. Bryce returns to Smallville for her engagement party and finds her office broke in and the blood sample of Clark Kent stolen. I wonder by who. But who took the blood sample? Lionel or Lex? Clark is asked by Lex to be the best man and Martha and Jonathan to replace his missing parents, which I thought was nice, but we'll get to in a second. Also, the evil Lionel Luthor continues playing mind games, trying to poison the relationship between Helen and Lex, as well as Chloe and Clark by offering her an intern job in Metropolis in exchange for her to investigate Clark. But Lionel overhears the revelations of Dr. Wallen to Lex about Clark being an alien. So this is a very heavy episode, one that I quite enjoyed, and it leaves off on a bit of a cliffhanger. So it left me very satisfied and looking forward to, I guess, part 2, the season finale.
Yeah, but this was a part 1 episode. It's now pushing the main story with Clark, especially with Dr. Wallen waking up from his coma. Now he's repeating the line says, the day is coming, the day is coming. And he believes that Clark is the threat. He believes that he's going to rule the third planet and he wants to eliminate him. And that was insane that he was able to shoot that energy beam out of his freaking hands and disintegrated.
And he's got Iron Man's powers without the suit, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
What's the doctor's name again?
Dr. Walden.
Dr. Walden?
Yeah. Walden, like Walden Media.
I thought it was like Dr. Wong, and I'm like, he's a white guy and his name's Dr. Wong. I was like, you could tell that's not culturally accurate in 2002. His name's Dr. Wong and he's a white guy. I'm like, so I was just like thinking, like, it sounded like you said Dr. Wong, and I was just wondering, I was like, did he say Dr. Wong? And I'm like, I was just had to check that because I was like, that was so confused to me. I had to look that up and I'm like, is his name Dr. Wong? I mean, maybe he is. But yeah, I really like this episode. This is a really good one. Look, Lex asking the Kents to be standing in for his father. That to me actually showed me like, oh my God, this is like maybe Lex is turning over a new leaf. And then, if I really was like, man, this really, and then till I saw Helen's office being ransacked, then I was like, well, maybe Lex is not. I was like, but then again, I didn't know because when I first watched, I'm like, it has to be Lionel because Lex, I don't think would because Lex doesn't know. Lionel seems like he's on the Clark Kent trail while Lex is not.
As we saw from his Situation Room a couple episodes ago, he is at the very least curious. So like
Lex is bi-curious about Clark. Let me rephrase that. Okay.
Pause.
Let me rephrase that. Lex is very curious about Clark in a non-sexual way, but he's not fully ready to commit to being like, obsessed with Clark, while Lionel is already there and obsessed with Clark.
But he is obsessed with him. Have you seen the forbidden room that he showed to Helen? That's literally a definition of an obsession.
It's like
come on.
He's diving into Clark, but he's not really diving into it.
It's pretty obvious that he's raising a lot of red flags.
He's tempted, like he's tapping his toe into the water of Clark.
I don't think Lionel would be that suspicious to break into Helen's office. I think that's less likely. It could have been Jonathan because him and Helen are the only ones who knows about Clark's blood. And
to be fair, Lex was standing right there when she went, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, exactly. That in that episode.
To be fair, Lex was standing right there. But then again, Lex could have been like, "Oh my God!" Like, "Oh my God, I got the shits or something." Oh my God, I just realized I gotta take my morning after pill or something like that. It could have been like something like that. Or it could have been like, oh my God, I just realized we're having sloppy joes for lunch. It could have just been like, oh my God, but Lex, obviously it's like, okay, that blood is fascinating. I need to find out what it is. And then obviously it has no label. So he's like, oh my God, this alien DNA. All right, I'm taking it.
That's a little suspicious. There's no label on the tube. So that's why he's curious to break in to see what the hell it is. Why Helen Bryce is hiding that from him.
Which, to be fair, I could see Lionel doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, I just think, I mean, Clark really, I mean, because Lex is like, again, he's curious about Clark. And, you know, he's not like, you know, like, but Lionel is like fully dedicated to like, okay, Clark is, he has a whole file on Clark, but yes, I understand he doesn't have a situation room like Lex does. But like, you know, I think Lex's really obsession is why did Clark not get hit? Is more about the car accident. But then I will say, when you see that he has files on all three of the Kents, like, you know, he has Jonathan, a file on Jonathan, a file on Martha. I'm like, that
file with Martha and Jonathan as well.
I guarantee you, when he was at that farm, he probably was taking notes. When he got kicked out of the mansion and was doing chores, I guarantee he was scraping shit. He was probably like this.
Yeah, he was scraping cow pie.
It was like he probably took some shit as a sample.
I mean, it's
I doubt that part.
It's Lex Luthor. He's playing chess while the rest of us are playing checkers. It's what I argued in season 1 about the whole he let himself get corrupted and you all laughed at me. Well,
no, I didn't laugh. No, that's not true.
No, you all laughed at me. I'm old enough to remember that. I edit this show, so my memory bank is fresh and healthy.
Anyway, Lex is sexually obsessed with Clark. Let's just get that out the way, okay? There's a lot of sexual tension between them two, okay? He's very obsessed with Clark, okay? Like, literally, I guarantee you, he probably has naked pictures of Clark. Just that way he knows, like, all right, this is what he looks like naked. So now we need to find out, is this penis an alien penis? And like, sir, we can't tell that by a photo. Well, then what do we have to do, damn it, to find out? When he takes a shit, I want somebody down there in the farm getting shit. So that way, analyze this man's shit. And they're just like, sir.
You just want to see a sexual tension with Lex and Clark. You're dying to see it.
I just want Klex. I mean, yeah, I just want
You want the Klex. You want the Klex. You're one of those people.
No, I'm not one of those people.
This week on Unsolved Mysteries. Anyway, I really enjoy. Let's give him a minute.
Is Clark obsessed with Lex? Does Clark have Lex's shit in his office?
I mean, the shit sample would be highly unlikely.
I liked Clark's speech at the party. I thought that was very nice.
Oh yeah, the speech was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked how he was like struggling, and it was like, yeah, that was something that I would probably do, because you know you'd want to start off with something grandiose, but then in reality, what he ended up doing was just he nailed it pretty much.
Oh yeah, he did. He was speaking from the heart because he was going over and over again with that card for the rehearsal speech. But I don't think he like went down by the notes by the card. I think he just went it by the heart. Because that's what Clark does.
Oh yeah. And you know how Lex is trying to be Dr. Phil to Clark whenever he's like, they both sit down. He's like, Clark, let me tell you about love, about love. When two people love you. I'm like, when did you become Dr. Phil? I understand you're bald and all, but like, come on, that doesn't make you Dr.
You want to talk about relationship advice when your relationship has been like really bad, just bad track record when it comes to relationship.
I'm just saying, you don't have the best relationship advice. I mean, you married a girl who hypnotized you after like one day, and this doctor, you're finally having a real. It doesn't make you Dr. Phil. Okay?
You're ready to marry her after having her for dating her for like several months.
I'm just saying, you should not take relationship advice from Lex Luthor. I do like though that Doctor is making goofy faces when he's shooting laser beams into the wall. He's like,
yeah, he just does this ugly face when he's shooting that beam out. It says like,
you know, it reminded me of this bit from Eddie Murphy when he talked about faces that dudes make when they're in the sack, and how the faces they make like. Or something like that,
or he's like Schwartz like la 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 la.
But basically, the doctor, I remember when the doctor. I like how I'm sorry, that made me laugh. The doctor, I like how she's digging through, like looking for Lex's blood, the blood scene if Lex has, and Lionel. I like the scene between Lionel and her.
Oh yeah,
like that was a good scene between Lionel and her. It seems like Lionel's like everywhere in this episode. Like he's at the literally at the Luther Mansion twice. He's literally at the reporter. By the way, I literally laughed so hard at the end when Lex had the blood at the mansion, because I'm like, because he said Lex is not stupid enough to have the blood at the mansion if he has it, and then he has the blood at
the end. He did. He literally did have the blood sample in his.
It was right when she was taking too.
Like in a frozen little thing.
Well, she didn't get a chance to go through all of his things because Lionel interrupted and didn't get a chance to like search the whole place. She was just searching from the bookshelf.
I'm like, man, Lionel really stopped her from finding it. Like she was like,
why couldn't Lex keep it in the safe with a combination? You could have done that instead of just leaving it. Oh yeah, let's just leave it on your. Wait, did he go to his safe? I can't remember. Did he?
No, he had like a little statue under a statue or something.
Oh yeah.
Also, like Lex, like Lionel, I like how Lionel goes to like Chloe and then like to talk to Chloe, and then he comes back to the mansion, and then that guy's there, and he's like, and Lex is like, Doctor, you're hallucinating. And then he goes, no, I'm not. And then Lionel's like, I love that scene between Lionel, Lex,
that
and
scene,
the doctor.
Because Dr. Walden came in and told him like he finally read the wall and that the last son would rule the planet and it was Clark, so we got to destroy him. And he's like, no, Dr. Walden, you're confused. It's like, I won't let anyone stop me.
And then of course that doctor, Lex hires ninjas, because that one doctor is very fast, because he called the doctor and he shows up within 10 seconds of their conversation.
Where did he come from? But that was one question that bothered me.
I'm like,
he just shoots that tranquilizer at him out of the blue. Like, where did he come from?
I'm like, this doctor apparently would have made a good ninja, and he would also be a good super speedster, because I'm like, is he Barry Allen or something? Because like,
yeah. But to wrap things up, Dr. Walden is no more. He's pretty much a crispy creature at the end of this whole thing.
Yeah, Clark inadvertently killed him.
And then Clark descends into his basement to find, well, something glowing, but we'll cross that bridge.
We hear the voice call out. It is time. We hear Jarrell's voice.
Shh, dude, come on. Seriously, I wasn't gonna say it, but okay, I guess freaking Matt had to spoil it. Yeah, it's Jarrell's voice.
I put 2 and 2 together on that, but let's go to ratings. Jacob, what you got?
All right, I just got one more thing to say. I did like Lionel asking Chloe to investigate Clark. I thought that was a really good scene, because now it shows you that Lionel's on to Clark's trail. And there's a fun fact, by the way, they on Talkville, when they brought her on, the actress on as a guest star, Helen Bryce, they brought him and her, Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, they did.
She said, I pranked you so bad in that scene, the rehearsal scene. Do you remember that? And he goes, I took chili. I got the prop people to make chili and made it look like you had diarrhea all over your trailer. And so she literally went, and they said, hey, can you make something that looks like diarrhea, like chili? He said, we got chili. Why? What do you need it for? Michael Rosenbaum. Oh, we got that over here. Yeah, we'll make it.
I remember that she pulled a prank on Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, she poured it all over his trailer, all over.
Like, his toilet. She did. She pulled that shit all over his trailer.
Took some Polaroids of her sitting on the toilet with like her in her bathrobe and like her hair, makeup being done, and it just made it look like she had diarrhea. And then she said, deliver this. And he was pissed off and being an asshole that day. He was being an asshole. He was
like, what the fuck?
He was just so angry about this. And they're like, can you tell him, please? Because like he's been treating all the crew members horribly because he's in a bad mood about it. And so this is the wedding scene, the rehearsal scene at the Talon. And so then she goes and hands the pictures to him. And then he just looks at the pictures. And then he looks up and whispers to her, you're dead. And then that was the end of the.
I can imagine Michael Rosenbaum just going nuts. He forgot about that.
And he forgot. So that was so funny, but yeah.
Those beautiful scamps. But Jacob, what you got? What's your rating?
I am going to say this is like an 7 out of 10.
All right. Matt, what you got?
I'm going higher. It's a 9.5 out of 10. This is definitely pushing the story further with Clark and the whole Dr. Walden situation, wanting to like eliminate Clark as he believes he's the threat to the planet. My favorite scene is when Clark is still like doubting himself, like, hey, what if I was actually sent here to rule everyone, become a threat to mankind? Then Jonathan tells him, like, if that day does come, we will know that you'll do the right thing. Another great line delivery with John Schneider. Like, he just never misses. And it just got me so.
Never, ever. I'm going 9.5. I love this episode. I am psyched for the finale, and we are going to be doing a watch-along style. But that will be a little later on today at 9 o'clock Eastern here on this channel. So, Jacob, Matt, thank you so much. It is a privilege to do this with you every week. It's a long episode. Dang it. It's a lot longer episode than normal, but we had a lot to cover. Jacob, your YouTube channel's linked in the description. What do you have coming up? God, I know what I just said now.
Fuck.
I got it Lionel style, buddy. But for context, I was just like, because I just realized we're shooting on Zoom, and I was like, oh yeah, you can send chats. I was like, watch this. I just said Ryan likes it Lionel style, and so it's just I just saw that he was like, oh god. And so that's why I was just like, and so everybody's just reacting to that, and so that's when Ryan was like. So, but that's where, you can find me on 3D Movie Cinema. I have a Blue Beetle review dropping tomorrow, and then afterwards, and then of course we'll do the watch along next Tuesday. Well, this drops, we'll be doing the watch along. So about Tuesday night tonight.
Yes, so. And Matt, your link tree's in the description. What do you have coming up?
Well, I uploaded a bunch of videos. I uploaded Frailty, the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Five Nights at Freddy's, and goddamn, you really had to go there.
Just keep going. Keep going.
Every time, goddamn it. Oh fuck now, and I just uploaded John Carpenter's They Live. So yeah, I did things a little bit differently for my videos now I have the ability. I was able to figure out how to implemented clips and trailers and still photos, which now I know how to do it, and now it gets easier and easier. So I'm excited to keep improving my channel, and few of my subscribers have been increasing. So I appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much. Go and check out a lot of my reviews, and especially Five Nights at Freddy's. I really appreciate it, and I'm really excited to do this watch along for the season 2 finale. This is going to be a great episode.
Yeah, subscribe to both of these guys. Subscribe to this channel. Click the bell for notifications. But yeah, see you all a little later tonight for the watch along for the season 2 finale. For Matt Wyatt, for Jacob Collins, my name is Ryan Camp for Truth for Justice for the American Way. We will see you in the next one. Y'all take care.